G'day, this is an experimental project I did where I wanted to try with using spray paint on the engraving on some acrylic, and it turned out pretty well. So I'll give you a brief overview of the settings I used and the techniques. Hope you enjoy it. Now, I got the file for this from Etsy. There are other sites, but I found the pricing on Etsy was quite reasonable. And the file basically is just a download that comes with a whole heap of different formats. So if I look at here, you can see I've got SVGs, PDFs, CDR, Adobe Illustrator, and Draw and EPS. So you should find every format that you could possibly need. And the other thing I really liked about it is it has 6 different face plates that you can choose. So I've obviously gone for that one there, and you can choose it either as a model that you hang or stick to a wall, or one with the stand, which is the one I've done for my particular print, or cut I should say. So this is the cut profile that I set up in LightBurn, and basically just running through it, I've got up in this corner here my test piece. So it's got a cut, an engrave, and a fill for the text, just to test my depths before I committed to it. And basically this is the front panel. So all of the red is a engrave, the blacks are cuts. Over on this part I have my middle section, so we've got the green text that's engraved out, and this is the back section. And the back is basically, if I just turn this one off, it's basically just that shape there, and it will be inverted. It just fits on the board better this way. So it'd be inverted to fit behind this piece. But I put this blue on it as a very light engrave so that I can just go through, and when I'm trying to glue these sections on, they can sit directly onto this piece, and I can just sit them between the lines and know that everything's going to be lined up perfectly. There was originally, if I turn this off again, it's a little bit hard to see, but these lines here, these yellow, they were the original trace lines from the file when I was given it, and I've just made them a little bit wider with an offset so that when I lay these on top I can actually just see the outlines of them. So I've turned that one off and this one on for that purpose. So the settings I've got for my cuts, I'm using a 60 watt CO2 laser, so 14 millimeters a second, 70% power on 3 mil acrylic. Trace 150 millimeters a second, 15% power. The light engrave, I've gone for more power but faster speed. I could have set that differently. The text, I don't remember why I did this. I've done one fill, so I'm physically filling the whole area in or burning the whole area out, and then I've done a cut around the edge with a line. Now, not really sure why I did that, but it worked. Probably could leave it out, but that was in there, and the trace inner lines is not doing anything. So that's my file. I burnt it in sections, so I would basically, after doing my test, I'd come in and select all of this, cut selected graphics, burn that one, move on to the next one, cut selected graphics, do the engraving first, then the outer cuts, and same on this one, do the engraving first and then the outer cuts. So I'm going to have a quick look at the different cuts, and then we'll have a look at how I got the red infill, which is a technique I'd never tried before. This is the green text infill, and it's eating out the areas between the text that will then fill with the red paint. And this is the cutting out of that text, and we're basically just doing the full sections so we can lift that out. With those bits removed, I'm going to paint them now, and you can see I just put a nice thick coat on, and I've left the masking paper on right there, so I only paint on the areas that have been laser engraved. I then come in from a different angle, so I make sure I fill in all of the gaps. Once the paint's dry, we can peel off the protective coating, and you'll see that it gives this really nice contrast. Got a few more of the bits cut, so I'm just removing the backing from them, and then we'll start to assemble and glue the various bits together, ready to do the front section. And this is cut using the red engraving profile, and again we'll paint this after it's all done. Now I have to say that after painting, the peeling off is really satisfying. It is a little bit finicky to get all the fine detail, but I just used the tip of a sharp knife and was able to get it off quite successfully. To glue all of the bits together, I just used straight super glue. I was a little bit concerned that I was going to have too much friction on the rotating parts, but it turned out there was no problems at all there. I had thought maybe a tiny wafer spacer or something, but it didn't turn out to be an issue.